Score big with the TCU Debit MasterCard that gives you cash back on every... Sports Network. We are broadcasting live from the Gage Gymnasium, high above Mike Lightfoot Court here at Bethel University in Mishawaka, Indiana. Glad you can join us for college volleyball tonight as the 30th ranked St. Francis Cougars from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Of course, a proud member of the Crossroads League, taking on the homestanding Bethel University Pilots on Paul Country, the longtime voice of the Pilots, joined now by Sarah McFarland Hendricks. Great to have the All-American with us here today. Tiny Country with all the details. Special thanks and kudos go out to Andrew Bowen for all his hard work. Sarah, obviously, we've hit conference play now, so we can throw out all the particular records as the Cougars come in at 5-3, the Pilots at 4-5. Both of the squads have gone all over the country, if you will, to play a wide variety of foes in their non-league schedules. And still at this point in time, just 10 matches in, still a lot of uncertainty for a lot of these for these two teams, and specifically the Pilots, which are a very, very young group tonight. But let's just talk about the importance of those non-league matches that they played, and what can we expect as these guys and gals try to crank things up here tonight.
You know, the preseason is so important just because you hope to play good competition and then start to figure out who you are as a team, not only just what your lineup is going to be, but, what kind of chemistry are you going to have, what kind of team are you going to have, who's going to be a leader, all those different things that you're kind of trying to work with. So it's as much about the wins and losses as it is about finding out what kind of team we are, because then as we go into these conference games, these are where, the things start to really count. And you start to see what your team can do, where your holes are, where you have to, start to get better at. And I'm sure for both these teams, they've gone and played some great competition. Like you said, they've gone to a lot of different places. So, when we look at not necessarily their wins and losses, it's as we're going into these kind of games, what are we going to see? What kind of lineups are we going to have? Young, are we going to have some veterans out there? And really, who's going to take charge and lead?
St. Francis 30-9 a year ago, 15-3 in the regular season, co-champions of the Crossroads. They lost a tough game in the Crossroads League title game. They had a 2-0 lead and ended up succumbing to Marion, which won the conference postseason tournament, and of course won the bid to the NAIA National Tournament Series. Likewise did the Cougars. But if you look, Sarah, in the early stages of the season, St. Francis with the trip out west taking on number 13, Rocky Mount, Embry-Riddle out of Arizona receiving votes. Westmont, California, 23. Trinity Christian over in the Chicagoland Collegiate Athletic Conference, team that's receiving votes. In Vertubo up in Wisconsin, number 5. So they play some pretty good competition. So I would say at this stage at 5-3, Scott Haddock's squad certainly has fared pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be happy with that because, again, you're starting off the season, you're just trying to figure out what your lineup is. You're still tweaking some things, and to take on that level of teams. I'm a California girl at heart, I think, so I know that the competition out there is going to be a different kind of volleyball, and you get to see a lot of different kind of things, and that's going to make your team, just better. So he's got to be very happy with the competitiveness that his team's coming out with. Yeah, I mean, I love Scott. He's a great coach, great guy, and he always puts together a good squad. So he's a smart coach to push his team, that he's got a good quality team there to push his team against some of these high-ranked teams.
Valerie Flick as well as Cassidy Ramo also have departed. The graduation loss is pretty significant. Of course, Valerie, first-team Crossroads League player, and of course Cassidy Ramo, the Libero of the Year, and of course Cassidy also a second-team Crossroads League performer. If you look at Bethel, 10 and 21 a year ago, 5 and 13, including 5 and 6 here at home. Graduation losses were significant. 7 student athletes have departed, including certain stars like Peyton Anderson, Cassandra Williams, who really had a solid year. And of course, when you look at the big picture there, for Katie Weiss' squad, they're still trying to sort things out here. You look at their preseason schedule, they were all over the place. Montana, they were taking on Concordia here at home to get the party started, but also Rocky Mountain, Montana, Siena Heights, Northwestern of Ohio, Roosevelt, Rochester, some teams that certainly that are formidable when it's all said and done. So the Pilots with a whole new lineup, a lot of questions still unanswered.
Yeah, and I think, what's great, Katie's been here now, this is, I believe, her 3rd year, is that correct? And so she's starting to really get, her recruiting and figuring out what kind of kids she wants to bring into her program. When you inherit a program, you got some kids that maybe you didn't recruit. So she's starting to really get, her kind of touch on this program that she wants to have with her and her coaches. I've talked to her and some kids that she was recruiting, great kids. And so I can see, her vision of what she's trying to do here and her every year just implementing more and more of what she sees this program going towards, and I think we'll hopefully see that in their, in their schedule and in their outcomes here.
We'll be back with more of our continuing coverage. We're going to go one-on-one with Scott Haddix in his career at St. Francis. 84 wins, 99 losses, but certainly an upswing in the way they're going. I spent some time earlier today with Scott and filed this report. College volleyball here today from Bethel University. The Pilots here playing on Mike Lightfoot Court. Joining us here in the pregame show, the 30th ranked Cougars of the University of St. Francis, doing really well, off to a great start for 6-year head coach Scott Haddix. Scott, first of all, great trip out west for you and your gals. So let's just talk about getting off to a good start, playing some really formidable competition. It's only going to make you better after a great year last year.
Yeah, thank you. It was a great year last year, and then you get into this year and you decide you're going to take your team very early out to California, all the way across the country. You're going to play ranked teams in just about every match, and you don't know how it's going to go, and we come home and we're pretty happy with how it went. Maria does not get hurt and injured in our match with Hope International. That's our starting All-American setter. Then I think we come home from that weekend 4-0. But that's the way it goes, and you compete and you have to play whether you got your whole roster or not your whole roster. And but it was a great weekend. We learned a lot of things about some new kids and a lot of things about our old kids too.
Well, we've talked over the years that it's just really neat to see the natural progression of the program under your direction. Just kind of for our listening audience who may not be volleyball specific on the trail that the Cougars have been on, it's been a slow but tedious journey, and you guys are making great strides. What has been the key to that success?
Well, thank you again for understanding and recognizing that. I really appreciate it. It's been a very methodical process, and it's been a lot about vision. We set out to do this 5 years ago. We're in our 6th year, and I think we're actually a little ahead of schedule. Why is it working? I think we've just sold the vision, and the girls have done a great job of buying in. They believe in what we're trying to do on the court, off the court, who we want to be as people. And I think that's really kind of the big piece for us. We can't go out and recruit the best of the best of the best. So we got to go out and recruit kids that want to buy into what we're going to do, which is work hard, be great citizens, be great athletes, but be great students as well. And it's just working. It's a great atmosphere to be a part of.
You lost a couple of really good players, Valerie last year, and of course Cassidy, some players that were really made some major impact in your squad. Can you talk about mixing some new people into those roles and how that is going for you thus far?
Yeah, everybody knows you don't replace a person like Cassidy Ramo or Valerie Flick. You just hope the next kid that comes up steps up, and they'll do it in their own unique way. And Nikki Marshall has stepped into the libero jersey. She's played 3 years with Valerie and just kind of waited her turn and waited very very patiently, and she's just done a phenomenal job this early season working with some very young DSs and some inexperienced passers back there. Just been a great captain of our defense. And then you don't lose Cassidy. You don't replace her either, but you lose her and Ava Kunkler, senior outside, and then Michaela Hissong, our junior outside, have really been prepared and ready to just kind of do things differently, but do it at a high level. And when that happens, your program just continues to take the strides that it's naturally taking.
You know, obviously a heartbreaking loss in the tournament championship last year. Had to do one of two things. It's either motivated your gals or they could walk around, kind of shoulders droop and head down. That certainly doesn't like that. That's been the case. Talk about what you preached during the off season, so they have been ready to go this year.
Yeah, well, we just talked about our culture all spring and again all summer and then early season. And, we just want to work hard, have fun, and be super focused at what we're doing. And I think when you have some ideals that go bigger and broader than just winning and losing, I think it helps take away some of that sting. Now, don't get me wrong, we're all pretty upset, disappointed, blow a 2-0 lead and walk out without a win, but it was off to the next thing, which was the NAIA first round, and so we had other things to focus on and deal with too. But I think that culture really helps, and it's a piece that the kids really buy into and they really believe in.
Turning your attention to the opponent tonight here as you open up Crossroads League play here on the road. Talk about Katie's group and what you have to do to be successful here tonight.
Yeah, well, just like we've missed some names, they are missing some names that I'm very familiar with. No more Peyton Anderson, and she was just a heck of a competitor and really enjoyed and also didn't enjoy competing against her. And so, they are young, I think, in some inexperienced roles, but they're growing and they're going in the right direction, and watched a lot of film on them this year because I just knew that we had to and see what some of the new kids were doing. Obviously, the other Peyton, the outside hitter this year, is doing a great job, both front row, back row. I think the setter is doing a really nice job. Gina Novotny is a kid you don't want to get the ball near, so I noticed she had her 1,000th dig here early this preseason. So, they're going to be a team that probably is going to make a little mistake here and there, just like us, but some of that being their youngness and their chemistry working together. But like any match that you play these days, if you don't come out ready and prepared, you're going to lose. And so we're not going to take anyone lightly or look past them. We have one job to do tonight, and that is to play Cougar volleyball against Bethel and see who comes out the winner.
Best of luck, Coach.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
We'll be back with more college volleyball live here from Bethel University on the Regional Radio Sports Network. Once again, thanks for joining us here from high above Mike Lightfoot Court. I'm Paul Condry, along with Sarah McFarland-Hendricks. Glad to have Sarah back with us in the broadcast booth. We'll be with you again tomorrow over at Indiana University South Bend as the other University of St. Francis, this one from Illinois, will be taking on IU South Bend in their conference opener in the Chicagoland Collegiate Athletic Conference. Earlier today, I spent some time with Katie Weiss and got her thoughts on today's matchup. College volleyball here today from Mike Lightfoot Court. Glad you can join us here as Crossroads League action gets underway. The 30th ranked Cougars of St. Francis in town to take on the Bethel University Pilots. Joining us now, Katie Weiss, her team certainly coming in with a lot of energy and a lot of excitement, having won 2 of their last 3 matches. And Katie, first of all, you played a wide variety of teams in a wide variety of situations. Certainly you've had some taste of the Chicagoland Collegiate Athletic Conference. You've had some taste of the Wolverine Hoosier Athletic Conference, as well as some teams out west. How do you think the Crossroads League representative, the Bethel Pilots, have fared against some of those other leagues thus far?
Yeah, I think our league is doing very well. And so, I think we're representing okay. We're going to do better. We're not where I want to be. I think we're doing all right, but I want more for us, and I think, our team does as well.
Give us an idea on what, during the last trip out west and to some of the other places up north that you've played, what have you gleaned from your team thus far that you really, really like?
Well, I really think they're fighters, and they don't give up. I think that's really important. We're young, and we're a little inexperienced, and you can see that from time to time. In those areas, as we begin to sharpen those and clean up messy things, we're going to be tough, and so I'm excited for that.
Obviously, Scott's team is off to a great start. They had a great run last year, and he's methodically built St. Francis into one of the best teams in the league. and certainly one of the best, 30 teams in the country. Their trip to the Crossroads League championship game was kind of a heartbreaking thing. They had a 2-0 lead and then lost to Marion, so they were pretty motivated. But they lost some graduations, kids, and that situation kind of plays it out. So you understand, having lost some key players, you're both in the same boat. But they bring back some really talented gals. What concerns you about the Cougars?
Yeah, I think that they have some strong hitters. They haven't really lost anyone in that front line that is tough, and so they're gonna swing big, and we just got to get a good block up, and that's been a little bit of a weakness for us at the beginning of this season. So we've got to nail that tonight and really put up a wall, and then just pass on and play our offense. And I hope that we can do that well tonight.
You got to deal with a young lady from Mattawan High School in Michigan, NEI Honorable Mention All-American, and Maria Palak. Give us your thoughts on trying to keep her under control. She's a tough cookie.
Yes, absolutely. We've watched film, and we've tried to really watch tendencies and just worked our block on working footwork to those areas and trying to close that down. And so obviously you can't fake that. We didn't practice against her, so we'll see how that works. But we've prepared for her, and hopefully we can shut her down.
One of the most challenging things that coaches run into is trying to duplicate or replicate, if you will, someone else's talent and skill during the course of your practice. We see it all the time in all sports. How difficult is that for you to be able to try to do that? I think it's the biggest challenge there is.
Absolutely. I don't think it's really quite possible. You can just work on systematic plays, but you really can't duplicate a specific athlete, and so that is impossible. But you can just again work on that positioning and studying that player in hopes that they will prepare well and be ready for it. But it's kind of impossible to mimic a player.
Last year you got off to a real good start in Crossroads League play, but kind of closed down the stretch and kind of limped home. But this time it's a really good test to start out. Would you rather have it the other way around, or would you like to take one of the best teams in the conference right from the get-go?
I guess we'll see. I'm excited to start this way. And just up against one of the best teams. I think this will be a great start for us, and depending on how we play and how we compete, that'll take us far into conference. And so I think it's a good way.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more Pilots Volleyball right after this on Regional Radio Sports. So glad you can join us here today. As always, fortunate to put the headset on next to this gal in front of us. And of course, in case you're just joining us, you have not had a chance to watch our broadcast in the course of the last calendar year. Just absolutely blessed to have Sarah McFarland Hendricks with her, and especially today, because just a couple days ago she gave birth to her first baby daughter, and we're excited for her and her family. But Sarah, for many of you who follow us throughout the course of the last year, Sarah, I mentioned this 3 or 4 times, Sarah won a state championship when she was at Michigan City. And back in 1995, played for Benny Edwards. Ironically, her dad, Rob, won a state championship playing for the legendary Doug Adams at Elston High School. They had a great team, and 65 and 66 going 26-3. And, of course, Sarah went off to Loyola Marymount, where she was an All-American and still holds a plethora of records out there. And, of course, that wasn't enough for Sarah. She decided that she's going to come back into the coaching ranks. So what did she do in 2011? She won a state championship over at nearby Penn High School. So you've done a wide variety of things, and now she's stuck in the broadcast booth with yours truly. It's really and truly a blessing for me to have her, and congratulations on the newest arrival to the Hendricks family.
Thank you. Hopefully we got a little volleyball player on our hands. She's got big feet, so we're hoping.
All right, as we get ready to get underway here, we're going to go on down to Keith Kateski here for our pregame announcements and all the details. Before we do that, well, we're glad you can join us here for our broadcast. The St. Francis Cougars have won 5 straight over the Pilots in this series, and the overall series, St. Francis leads the series 12-11. So the last 5 have not been pretty for Bethel. Pilots last time out lost 3-1. Prior to that, 3-2, 3-0, 3-1, and 3-1. So it's not been a pretty sight for Bethel against St. Francis in the last 5 meetings. St. Francis, of course, a year ago, 30-9. The Pilots at 10-21, and that's where we're going to set the stage, and we'll head on down to the Mike Lightfoot court, where Katie and Scott are ready to bring their teams out, and we're ready for our opening serve. Good evening.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the campus of Bethel University for tonight's contest between the Cougars of St. Francis and your Bethel University Pirates. Bethel University welcomes all players, officials, and spectators to tonight's game. As participants in the NAIA's Champions of Character initiative, we ask each of you to help create a positive, competitive environment by showing respect for one another. On behalf of the Crossroads League and Bethel University, please enjoy tonight's match. This time, we'll ask everyone to stand. Gentlemen, please kindly remove your hats for our opening prayer, followed by the playing of our national anthem. Let's pray. Gracious Lord, we thank you for the opportunity that we have tonight to honor you in this game of volleyball. We thank you for safety in travel, for our teams, for our fans, our spectators, for our officials. And now, Father, as we compete together, we pray that you would protect our players, keep them free from injury. We pray that together, as athletes, spectators, and workers, we may all bring you glory by our words and by our actions. Thank you for the opportunity now to bring you that glory by how we play. We pray it all in your name. Amen. And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing the players in tonight's match, beginning with the players from the visiting Cougars from the University of St. Francis. Beginning with your non-starters tonight, a 5'10 junior from Albany, Indiana, number 1, Katerina de Blasio. A 5'9 sophomore from Fort Wayne, Indiana, number 2, Gabby North. A 5'7 freshman from Powell, Ohio, number 3, Miley Steppenberg. A 5'10 freshman from Lafayette, Indiana, number 5, Kendall Buchanan. A 5'8 sophomore from Fishers, Indiana, wearing number 6, Madison Candler. A 5'7 freshman from Fort Wayne, Indiana, wearing number 8, Kylie Top. A 6'2 freshman from Waukesha, Wisconsin, number 9, Eliana Serdinsky. A 5'11 junior from Decatur, Indiana, number 11, Mackenzie Barger. A 6'1 sophomore from Columbia City, Indiana, number 14, Shelby Mosier. A 5'10 freshman from Powell, Ohio, wearing number 16, Taylor Carlo. And then a 5'10 junior from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Please note the change on the roster wearing number 17 tonight, Michaela Hissong. And now your starters for the Cougars. A 6'1 junior from Fort Recovery, Ohio, number 7, Kendra Seafring. A 6'2 senior from Valparaiso, Indiana, number 10, Ann Clark. A 5'9 junior from Matawan, Michigan, wearing number 12, Maria Pilak. A 6' senior from Indianapolis, Indiana, wearing number 13, Megan D'Agostino. A A 5'10" senior from Portland, Indiana, wearing number 15, Ava Kunkler. Actually, and also a starter, Michaela Hisson is a starter. That was an error on my part. And then also a 5'9" senior from Muncie, Indiana, wearing number 4, the libero tonight, Nikki Marshall. And now the players for your Bethel University Pilots. Beginning tonight with your non-starters. A 5'5" freshman from Fort Wayne, Indiana, number 2, Kennedy Kins. A 5'6" freshman from Valparaiso, Indiana, wearing number 4, Rachel Vendel. A 6'2" freshman from Hoagland, Indiana, wearing number 12, Isabel North. A 5'7" junior from Elkhart, Indiana, wearing number 13, Mackenzie Williams. A 5'11" freshman from Kalamazoo, Michigan, wearing number 14, Kelsey Fedema. A 5'3" freshman from Bern, Indiana, number 15, Hedda Dahl. A 5'9" freshman from Bern, Indiana, wearing number 17, Shaylin Woodman. A 5'8" sophomore from South Bend, Indiana, wearing number 18, Megan Hosinski. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your starters for the Bethel University Pilots. A 5'9" junior from Goshen, Indiana, wearing number 1, Kelsey Costa. A 5'9" junior from Kendallville, Indiana, wearing number 6, Peyton Hunt. A 6'1" freshman from Elkhart, Indiana, wearing number 8, Sue Vandigriff. A 6'0" junior from Valparaiso, Indiana, number 9, Abby Arnold. A 6'1" sophomore from Allentown, Pennsylvania, wearing number 10, Madison Bieber. And a 6'1" senior from Anchorage, Alaska, wearing number 16, AJ McDonald. At libero tonight for the Pilots, a 5'5" senior from Lexington, Kentucky, wearing number 11, Bridget Downs. Head coach for your Bethel University Pilots is Katie Weiss, assisted by Lisa DeJesus, Hannah Curtis, and Kristen Mitchell. And I should note as well, your head coach for the Cougars from the University of St. Francis is Scott Haddix, assisted by Neil Pratt, Mark Campbell, and Seth Rossi. And now, ladies and gentlemen, if you'll direct your attention to center court, we're ready to get tonight's match underway.
Wonderful job by Keith Kateski, and as always, great to have him here and a part of this. Once again, special thanks to Tanya Conde for all the details she'll be providing on the screen and the camera work here tonight. I'm Paul Counter along with Sarah McFarland Hendricks. The Bethel University Pilots will begin Crossroads League play for the first time with a new name, Bethel University. A year ago it was Bethel College. This year it's Bethel University, and certainly a lot of expectations. I'm talking with the new athletic director, Tony Natale.
Amazing.
It's a great crowd. Tony, if she'll get a chance to zoom on over there. But Bethel University, we're moving from left to right on your screen, decked out with the blue shorts, white jerseys, and the solid blue numbers. University of St. Francis decked out, and of course with the black shorts, and the jerseys are black with blue trim along the sides, and of course the white numbers. As we get underway, our officials tonight, up top is going to be Mark Yeoman from Elkhart. Down along the scorer's bench will be Dan Matz from Elkhart. The line judge tonight will be Kim Batchel from Elkhart and Jason Maynard from South Bend. As we're ready to get underway, St. Francis, who comes into the ballgame, certainly having played 5 ranked teams in its first 8 games, averaging 13 kills per game, giving up right around 11.8. They have been dynamite in as far as with their assists, aces. They have statistically outdistanced their opponents in every statistical category in their first 8 matches. And to serve it for the University of St. Francis, to move from right to left, will be Nikki Marshall, a 5'9" senior who prepped at Muncie Central High School, Delaware County. Many people feel it's the hotbed as the Pilots score the early point off a hit from McDonald. It's 1-0.
She put a great little touch on that. The set wasn't exactly where she needed to be. There was a little miscommunication, and she found the hole. So that was a great sight on her part.
Now Rachel Vendel will check into the game as she'll be serving on the far side. The 5'6" freshman from Valparaiso, as the Cougars will put it in play on the first time and immediately coming to the net and pounding one home. I believe that was Annie Clark, and we're tied 1-1. 3 Valparaiso high school student athletes in this match. You can say what you want about whatever conference, but the Duneland Athletic Conference, as Sarah is well aware of,
Great
one of the best
volleyball.
conferences in all of Indiana.
Yeah, some great volleyball coming out of that conference, and especially out of Bethel. Katie Leonard over there does a great job. She was obviously the Laporte player, played under Lebo, who was a great coach as well. Just a lot of good volleyball names in that area.
Cougars with a 2-1 advantage as they'll serve. Bethel comes to the net, and it's now 3-1 as the Pilots some confusion at the net. Let's set the stage if you can, Sarah. Offensively, the Cougars, what can you tell from them?
Offensively, they're just, well, it's kind of hard to tell right now. They haven't been able to run much. I can tell Bethel's trying to run a faster offense, definitely. Right now, just having some, I don't know if it's miscommunication or just the sets aren't exactly where they want them to be. And with that quick offense, if they're not where you want them to be, you can't take the swing that you want.
Oh, here's a diving play on the back line. Kept alive nicely by the Pilots. Bethel will try to come back on the attack, and the Pilots will earn a hard-earned point there. What a diving play set up by one of the neatest young people we've ever been around. That's Bridget Downs, the 5'4" senior from Lafayette Lexington High School in Kentucky.
She's fun to watch. I remember her from last year.
Here's St. Francis coming back on the attack, and the Cougars, just like that, pound one home to take a 4-2 lead.
Bethel's there. They got to just push over the net. They're not penetrating across the net. They're contacting the ball on their side, which is letting the ball fall on their side.
Now to serve will be Miley Steckelberg, 5'7" freshman. Did her prep work at Olentangy Liberty High School in Ohio. She'll be serving from right to left, respectively. Cougars with an early 4-2 lead. Bethel comes on the attack. The block kept alive now by the Cougars. And there you go. That's exactly what you were talking about right there. Get up on that net.
And I remember Abby Arnold from last year. She was a great blocker. Got some great blocks from last year. So she's going to be a big part of that.
And the Pilots will take advantage of that point there. And they now trail 4-3. Now to serve for Bethel will be Mackenzie Williams, a 5'7" junior who did her prep work in nearby Elkhart Memorial High School. She slaps with a right hand, diving serve for the ace, and it's a tie game here in number one. 4-4.
Jump floats are always fun because she actually put a little spin on that ball, and I'm not sure if she meant to or not, but it worked because it dropped kind of like a curveball right to the left. No one could track it the way they were supposed to.
How important is it for this young Bethel team to hang tough in the early stages, Coach?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, it's how they're going to start things off. And it's always, at the beginning of the season, you're trying to get your team chemistry. It is so important to come out and just play hard because there's going to be some miscommunication and you're kind of getting your feelings still. So they got to just continue to play hard like they are.
Kendra Seifring will now serve for the 30th ranked Cougars. And this one's a diving play kept alive by the Pilots. Now St. Francis coming back on the attack, and they have a tie game here at 5-5 as St. Francis tried to sneak one down the right sideline, couldn't get the job done, and now Bethel's Peyton Hart, who's had a great start to the season, 121 kills already in just 9 matches. She slaps one that just grazes over the tape. St. Francis comes back on the tape, and here's one hitting one home is Michaela Hissong, the Leo product, and it's now 6-5. Once again, from our vantage point, we can see exactly where the net is. We couldn't have had a better view than what you were talking about earlier, Sarah.
Yeah, they're doing a great swing block, which we can talk more about later, but just got to get their hands across the net.
6-6 match here, game number one. Now checking into the game for the Pilots will be Sue Vandergriff, a 6-foot junior who prepped at Jimtown High School. And here's a service error off the hands of Abby Armold, and it's now 7-6. Second service error of the evening for the Pilots. Cougars have yet to record a service ace or an error in the early stages. And here's one going long, and as soon as I say that, that is what you call the sportscaster's curse, ladies and gentlemen. We're tied 7-7. And how many times I've done that in my career? So we've been tied at 1, 4, 5, 6, and 7, respectively, as Madison Beaver, who leads the team in assists with 202, and also leads the team in aces with 18. There's a play.
It's really trying to go towards the corners.
Armble tries to send one down, and that was deflected off the Cougar. And Bethel has only a second lead of the night. They were ahead 1-0. Now they lead 8-7.
That scouting report must have said that Bethel's leaving some corners open, because every time that St. Francis is in trouble right now, they're trying to get the ball to the corner and just going too far.
St. Francis coming back on the attack. Oh, there's a nice block at the net by the Pilots. Second block in a row here. St. Francis will try to, and a great one-hand dive by Hart on the far side, and the Pilots are able to score to take a 9-7 advantage.
St. Francis is really playing kind of what we call a straight-up defense, where they're staying back on the lines, leaving the middle of the court very vulnerable to that little roll shot.
Madison Beater will slap home with the right hand when it goes right up the elevator shaft from the Agostino. Bethel on the attack. A little Peyton Anderson return play there. And the Pilots again, this time on the far side. How about the block up front by Casey Grudslaw?
I like her energy. She's fired up. There's something you can see here, too, which is kind of interesting in two different coaches. One puts the libero at middle back, one puts him at left back, and just two different theories of, left back is where a lot of balls go, but a lot of coaches now are putting their libero in the middle of the court so they can take up more space and get more balls and get touches on more balls. So kind of interesting to see two different kind of perspectives there on where our libero is going to go.
The Pilots in the midst of a 5-0 run now lead 11-7 here in game number one. Here's one just grazing the tape. They're trying to set up the power play on the near side. Kept alive, and up the elevator shaft they'll go as Ann Clark was trying to set the stage. And here's
we're getting a call here. He's saying the ball was outside the antenna.
So it'll be 11-8 now. Pilots with a 3-point advantage here in this first game of the match. Great crowd on hand here tonight at Bethel University.
Great atmosphere to play in tonight.
Here's at the net come the Pilots, and the roundhouse right from A.J. McDonald goes long. And it's now 11-9 Bethel. 2 unanswered now for the Cougars. There's the serve, just grazing the diving play by Downs, kept it alive. Hart punches it back to the other side. And here's one. Oh, another nice play at the net by Peyton Hart. But the Cougars were able to take advantage of it, and it's now 11-10. Boy, what a diving play and a hustle by Peyton Hart.
And you see Vandergriff kind of going, that's my fault, and that's because she got caught up with the middle, which the middle for the Cougars did exactly what she was supposed to do, which was take their block, so she was one-on-one.
There's one deflecting off the... What was the call here?
She knew it, too. She got her body into the net. She got her momentum going just a little too further forward than it should be, and she just kind of grazed that net.
And the Cougars in the midst of a 4-0 run and have tied up the first game at 11-11. On the near side, nice play here by Marshall. And the Pilots will end the drought. And now it makes it Bethel 12, St. Francis 11.
Sure, that's something that does not happen often for her to let that slip right through. It might be a little bit of sweat. Wipe those hands off.
Elsewhere in the Crossroads League tonight, Grace is out Mount Vernon. Mount Vernon off to a great start. We'll talk about that here momentarily. And here's one nicely done by A.J. McDonald. Right up the elevator shaft they go, and into the back it's Bridget Downs with the pass to the front. And punching one home was Peyton Hart. And the Pilots now with a 13-11 advantage.
I love what I'm seeing from the Pilots, which is they're really trying to run a fast offense when they can. When they get that good pass coming in, they're running the double quick, and even with the outlet on the outside, it's a faster ball. They're trying to beat the block, which is something only an athletic team is going to be able to do.
Over on the far sideline, here's Pelak with a pass over here to the near side, the two-hand shove to the near side. And just nice play here by Sue Vandergriff with the little off the right hand dunk. That makes it 14-11. Elsewhere, Marion is at Goshen. Marion unbeaten on the season, ranked 24. Spring Arbor is at unbeaten Indiana Wesleyan. Wesleyan is 7-0 on the season. Another diving place by Downs. And with a redirect, she scores. And just like that, the Pilots have increased their advantage to 15-11.
You know, they talk about a home court advantage, and right now the atmosphere, the energy, they're feeding off the crowd. The crowd's getting excited. That's fun to see.
Well, once again, Vendel on the serve. Oh, here's the big hammer down here. Kendra Seifring with the absolute howitzer, making it 15-12.
Vandergrift cannot leave her alone. She's a big hitter. That's her first priority is that middle.
She leads the team with 90 kills, and you can see why on that roundhouse right the last time around. Up to the front of the net. Nice job to keep that one alive by Ann Clark. Bethel back on the attack now. Vendel over here to McDonald, and she scores.
McDonald's having great success with that just little light tap right over top of the block and in the middle of the court.
16-12. McDonald, who transferred in from Lawrence Tech, did her prep work at South Bend Clay High School. And now Bethel to serve again. Bridget Downs, 150 digs for Downs coming into today's match. Downs on the back line, keeps it alive. Hart's over here. Downs with another sensational play on the redirect. It's Hart. And the Cougars, but make no mistake about it, Sarah, the effort by Bethel has been off the charts.
Yeah, they're giving it everything right now, which is what you want to see. As a player, it's fun to play in front of your home crowd. And again, with a crowd like this is a fun, as a player, this is what you want to play. A hard team, a good team in front of a great crowd.
And now Bethel on the attack off the serve from Miley Steckelberg. As they'll come back on the offensive attack. And once again, McDonald was there on the front line with Arnold. Keeping it alive here, Steckelberg. To the front line, they go Arnold with the kill. And it's now 17-13 Pilots.
Arnold is a great leader by just how she plays. She plays hard. Being a middle blocker is the hardest spot on the court. They are constantly side to side, up and down, back and forth, and she just does not stop.
Mackenzie Williams serves, goes to the back line where it's played there by Steckelberg. Now Bethel's Vendel. Diving play here by Marshall to keep it alive, and St. Francis will secure the point. Now it's 17-14 in favor of the Pilots here in game number one. As we alluded to in the open, Cougars have won 5 straight over the Pilots. Bethel has won 2 of their last 3 matches, however. There's the serve. Downs up to the net. Arnold's shot was blocked, and it falls harmlessly to the floor. And it's now 17-15.
And we see there what's hard is if they're trying to run a double quick there with both players, and if we don't get a good pass, there ends up being some confusion as to where the ball's going to go and where people are supposed to cover off that block.
Kendra Seifring, who has 90 kills starting today's matches on that serve. Here's Armo. Oh, with the little dink. Yep. She scores. Little change up. That's the Pilots a point. Now it's 18-15 in favor of Bethel.
Katie, right now, I'm telling my players that middle of the court is where we want to go. They have not been able to pick up that middle of the court ball yet.
Hard drills one, picked up on the back line, and now on the attack, a big hammer here for Michaela Hissong. Hissong, who came into today's match with 63 kills, picks up one there, and that makes it 18-16 Bethel, as St. Francis will have the opportunity to serve again. This one off the hands of Maria Pilak. Arnold with the redirect to the far side where it's played there by Pilak. Bethel comes to the net. Great. Far side, and that one's off the fingertips. Kelsey Grudstad, and the Cougars inch a little closer.
Great choice by Beaver to go outside. She brought the whole block with her because the pass was to the right side. Didn't work out, but that was a great choice. She's making good choices out there.
Once again, Arnold will punch it in the back line as she scores. They saw the Cougars coming to the net, Coach, and that open spot on the back line was there, and she punched it right there. That's just a great decision.
It is. The Cougars have been trying to do that all night so far, but it was the Pilots that got it done.
Now, Abby Arnold will serve. Abby on the year, 52 kills, 11 assists, 6 aces. And just like that, the Cougars bounce back, and it's now 19-18. This is a pivotal point of the game for Bethel with this young squad. As we alluded to at the top, Pilots had to replace 7 players. And this is a crucial moment of the match. Here's a beautiful play by Downs. Hart punches it back, and now into the hands of Pelak. And this one goes long on the attempt on the far side by Annie Clark, and Bethel leads it 20-18.
Beaver's just got to get the ball off the net a little bit for her outside hitters right now. There's a big block over there, and she's leading them into the block. So get it off the net a little bit, give her hitters a chance to see the court so they can hit those open spots.
Madison Beaver, 57 digs, 14 blocks, 35 kills. Here's one right off the shoot top. McDonald tries to redirect it, and that'll be a point for the Cougars, making it 20-19. Pilots come into today's match 11.3 in kills compared to the opponent's 10.7, 8.2 in assists compared to the opponent's 9.5 per game. Here's Hart with the right-handed push shot. They're setting up the big swing on the far side. Once again, it's Maddie Beaver to keep that one alive. And this one goes long on the miss hit by Kendra Sebring, and Bethel leads it 21-19. Our last tie was at 11-11.
This is a great match so far. Both teams playing really hard.
Valparaiso High School product Rachel Vendel on the serve, and now it's going to be an ace as it deflects off of Annie Clark's. A couple Vikings matched up against each other right there, 22-19 on the ace.
I remember playing against Clark when I was coaching at Penn. She's developed really nicely.
There's one line again.
Got her again. Oh, what a hustle.
And this one's going to fall short. 23-19 Pilots. Number 4 again on the serve. And a timeout, Scott Haddix. And we'll keep it right here and just kind of set the stage for where we're at right now. All right, so let's just talk about game management here, Sarah, if you can. Scott, this is his first time out. Of course, Katie still has both of her timeouts remaining right now. Both of them, it seems to me, that they're doing everything what I call situational coaching right now. So what is Katie talking to her group about? And then what is Scott talking to his gals about?
You know, I think right now Scott's just got to kind of get his team to calm down a little bit. They're not passing the ball. They're not moving their feet. And if they can't get that ball to where they want it to go, then they can't run their offense, which they've got a great offense, and they want to be able to run that. You know, Katie right now is trying to get her team probably to just continue doing what they're doing, stay at this high level that they're playing. You know, like you said, they're young, they've got some new kids, but this is a great game, and there's great energy going on, and they want to keep rolling from here. You cannot let up at any time, because if you let up, a team like this, like St. Francis, is just going to come back and say, no way, here we go. You know, volleyball's a game of momentum, and you got to keep the momentum when you got it.
Once again, the momentum right now on the side of the Pilots. Of course, Scott with the timeout here, trying to break some of that mojo that number 4 Rachel Bendel has been doing on her last couple serves that had netted a couple Pilots points after the Cougars had cut that lead to 21-19. We're at 23-19 as once again Bendel will serve from left to right. Up along that front line for Bethel, it'll be Vandergriff along with McDonald and Hart. There's that right-handed serve. This one off the shoot tops. Marshall on the play out. Downs up to the net. On the push to the far corner. Kept alive by Pelak. Over on the near side. And a great placement down the near sideline. Good hustle. Yeah. But that was perfectly placed.
It was. She thought it was out, so she was going for it, then kind of stopped herself.
And now to serve will be Ann Clark. Annie with 72 kills in her 27 games so far. Here's Arnold, and check that does Peyton Hart on the misfire. That makes it 23-21. So Scott Haddix, the timeout did wonders. His team has come out and scored 2 straight points after the timeout.
Yeah, Bethel needs to take this ball right now, or Katie might be thinking timeout.
McDonald slaps one, but it was blocked nicely at the point of the attack by Seifring and Kunkler. And it's now 23-22. And on the other side of the house here, it's Katie Weiss to take a timeout.
You know, I think right now Katie's probably also saying to her team, if the ball's not there, we cannot take just our normal swing. Those last 2 balls, the set wasn't exactly where those hitters wanted, and they're still trying to take their normal swing, and the ball's going into the net. When you're off like that, you're not able to take the approach you like, the swing you like. You got to reach high and deep, go for those corners, don't every time go for the kill. Let's get the ball back in play and go back at them. So again, we got momentum here. These next couple points are obviously huge, so it's okay, let's settle down, let's side out, and we're at 24.
Over at Goshen tonight, Marion won the first set against the Maple Leafs 25-20. Special thanks to Tanner Camp, who's broadcasting that game tonight on our affiliated station, WGCS. Glad to have Tanner part of our internship program here at Regional Radio Sports. 23-22. We have had 6 ties in the first game. We were tied at 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 11 in case you're just joining us. And now it is a 1-point game. The biggest lead for the Pilots at one point in time. The high water mark was 4 on 3 occasions. And now the Cougars have battled back. And now it's up to Ann Clark, the honorable mention Crossroads League player, 6'2 senior. She'll be serving. Bethel comes back on the attack. Here's Hart. Diving play here by Marshall to keep it alive for USF. And this one mishit into the net, and the Pilots score coming out of the timeout, 24-22. And it will be set point for Bethel as Bridget Downs will be punching it from left to right. But not before. There'll be a shoot time for Nikki Marshall, the Muncie Central product. Here is the serve, angling over here to the near side, and St. Francis comes back on the attack. McDonald keeps it alive, and that makes it 24-23.
That's the coach in me that just goes cringe, cringe, cringe.
And now to serve for USF will be Miley Steckelberg, Owen Tansy Liberty High School, 60 digs, 8 aces, 3 assists in her 27 games. She'll punch it long, and the Pilots win the first game of the match, 25-23. Bethel with the win over the number 30 ranked team here in the first one. We'll be back with more of college volleyball right after this on Regional Radio Sports.
From small towns and big cities, but they all shared one thing in common. They belonged to a family called Marines, a tough and determined few dedicated to protecting everything we hold sacred, and still they come. Celebrate the history of those proud few who have earned the title Marine.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Serving Indiana residents since 1985, Centier Bank remains committed to supporting students, schools, and families. Centier Bank is a proud sponsor of the Regional Radio Sports Network Performer of the Week in recognition of outstanding athletes. Visit Centier.com today to view this week's featured athlete. Centier Bank, member FDIC. Hi, this is Paul Condry of the Regional Radio Sports Network. That may be my professional title, but did you know that I'm also the son of a U.S. Navy World War II veteran and a proud father of a United States Marine? Let me share with you something very close to my heart. It's called the Semper Fi Fund, and its program America's Fund, which provides immediate lifetime support for post-9/11 wounded, critically ill, and injured members of the U.S. Armed Forces, veterans, and their families to ease recovery and transition back home to their communities. The Semper Fi Fund, serving those who preserve our freedom. The basic idea that drives these efforts is simple. For as much as our heroes have sacrificed, they deserve the best care and support available in their hour of need, whenever it may occur. The Semper Fi Fund, a 4-star charity and an A+ rating, has served over 16,000 members since 2004. The Semper Fi Fund, serving those who preserve our freedom. For more information, visit them online at www.semperfifund.org. Welcome back here on Regional Radio Sports. I'm Paul Country along with Sarah McFarland Hendricks. Glad to have the two-time state championship coach and All-American from Loyola Marymount. Glad to have her with us in the broadcast booth. And we're thrilled for her and her husband on the birth of their first daughter just a few days ago. And glad that we got her out of the house, back to work, and here in the broadcast booth, right?
Can't keep me away.
That's okay. All right, so just kind of break this thing down. When you look at the first the game, Pilots with a winner, 25-23. What did you see good from the home team?
You know, I think they did a great job, like I said, of running that quicker offense, really trying to take control when they had it, and feeding off the energy, staying high, and not dropping down maybe even when the game wasn't going the way they wanted. Katie took a great timeout when they needed it, got them back on track. They're putting pressure on the service line. They're putting pressure on St. Francis to pass the ball, and right now St. Francis kind of not passing the ball where they need to, not able to get the ball to the hitters they want, and it's throwing them off their game. I don't think we've seen really yet what St. Francis can do.
You think anything has to do with St. Francis playing without Cassidy Ramble, the second-team Crossroads League Libero of the Year who graduated?
You know, that always can kind of throw you off. You got some new players on the court, you know, and personality-wise, you're trying to find a new role, but you know, it comes down to the passing the ball. Who can get the ball to their setter so they can run the offense that they want to.
St. Francis moving from left to right on your screen right now, decked out in the black jerseys as well as the blue trim as we're tied 1-1. Bethel moving from right to left, of course, wearing the white jerseys and the blue shorts. Of course, the libero, respectively, number 4, Nikki Marshall for St. Francis, which will be on the left of your screen, wearing the white jersey. And over here for Bethel in the black jersey is Bridget Downs, respectively. And here's one right up the elevator shaft. Here's Downs with a pass over the near side. Hart goes cross guard, dug out by Marshall. Up on the near line. Oh, a diving play by Downs to keep it alive. Then back to the far line, and that'll be a miss hit off the hands of Maddie Beaver. And the Cougars jump in front 2-1. And now to serve, it'll be Michaela Hissong. Hissong, a product of Leo High School, just on the north side of Fort Wayne, a 5'10 junior. 46 digs, 63 kills coming into today's match. McDonald sends one back. Marshall digs it out. Here's one right up the elevator shaft. McDonald comes back, and there's Marshall again. This one hammered home at the front line. That was the whole enchilada there.
Yeah, now we're seeing what they want to do. They want to get the ball to their middles. The middles are great, strong, powerful hitters. If they can get their ball up to that middle, that's going to help their game.
Megan DiAgostino, a 6-foot senior from Cardinal Ritter on that last kill. And this one goes the Pilots' way. As Mount makes it 3-2 after the play here on the near sideline. Once again, in case you're just joining us, officials tonight, Mark Yeoman and Dan Matz, the guys respectively in the chair and down along the near sideline. Along the lines, it's Kim Batchel and Jason Maynard from Elkhart and South Bend, respectively. Here's the two-hand touch shot by the Pilots. Back the other way they go.
Great
Downs comes over here. Arnold tries to find the spot. Nice save by Pelak. Cross guard Downs is there again. Over here to the far side, McDonald sends one off Marshall's hands, and we're tied 3-3.
I love how Downs watches the ball come into her platform. If you talk to coaches, the platform and what you can do with it is you can manipulate the ball to do whatever you want. She watches that ball come right onto her platform. When I say platform, I'm talking about the way her hands are together as she's digging or passing the ball.
There's a big hit on the far side of the kills for Ava Kunpart, the 5'10 senior who prepped at Jay County High School out in Portland, Indiana. 4-3 Cougars. As they'll serve again, Marshall punches it, and the Pilots come back on the offensive attack. McDonald, Marshall was there. She anticipated a little touch shot.
Bethel's got to get back towards the middle of the court. When they're off, they're giving the ball right to that libero, which is not what they want to do.
Over along the near side, Downs. Passes over here. Hart goes cross guard, dug out on the back line by Hissong. And this one goes off of Arnold. And now the Cougars with a 5-3 lead. St. Francis, their biggest lead in the first game was 4-2. And right now their biggest lead here in this one for the second time is 2. Crucial point now for the young Pilot squad. Scott Haddix, assistant coaches Neil Putt, Seth Braze, Rachel Weaver, Mark Campbell, Jay Larman. On the near side, the Cougars come back. Here's Downs again, sending one up the elevator shaft. Back the other, Armel sends it to the back line. Marshall is there for USF. Cross-court pass, hammered down. Nice block by Armel and McDonald on the offering by Cookler. She says, don't think so.
That was that trap set I kind of talk about, which is probably not something we're going to see from this setter a lot, but you'll watch that she actually kind of led her hitter into the block, so the hitter had nowhere to go but directly, and that's a great block, but you can't put your hitter in the middle of that.
Set one up here, and a nice kill on the right side by Annie Clark, the Valparaiso standout. 6'4" Cougars.
An outside hitter, though, I was always taught it is never the setter's fault. It's always my fault. Doesn't matter where she puts the ball, I got to figure out how to get it through or put it somewhere.
And how much of that has to depend upon your volleyball IQ?
Oh, 100%. It's huge. You got to be able to see the court. You got to realize when it's not there. And, you know, a lot of that is scouting beforehand. Where do I put the ball if I'm not where I want to be?
And the Cougars have now jumped to an 8-4 lead. Is it timeout time for Katie Weiss? What do you think?
We're getting close. There it is.
There it is. Tell you what, you can feel that momentum swing, and for the first time, her team has fallen behind. So let's talk about the importance of the timeout here, and likewise for Scott's gals to come back after losing the first game of the match. They bounce back with a little bit of extra get up and go in their step, I think.
Yeah, and you know, I would see this a lot of times with teams I had in the past too. You come out, give everything you have, give so much in that first game, and then just kind of slow up a little bit, take the foot off the gas, as we would call it. And they can't do that because, as we talked about, this is a good team, the St. Francis team, and if they're going to let up, the Cougars are going to go right back at them. So they got to not worry so much about what's going up on the other side of the net and get back to doing what they were doing the first game, which led them to that win. You know, running the offense that they know how to run. They're getting some balls to the net. Now, you know, when they're putting it to the other side, we're giving it directly to the defense. As I talked about, the Cougars are running a perimeter defense, so they're right on the outside lines. They're on the back courts. That middle of the court is still wide open. Cannot give the ball to a libero. That's a gimme is what we call it. So make them move. Make them get out of that perimeter defense so that they cannot do what they want to do. Because if they get the ball directly to the setter, they got 3 hitters up there. They're going to terminate the ball.
Beaver, Arnold up front, along with Hart. Bethel also will have on the floor Mackenzie Williams, Downs, and finally, rounding out the lineup is Rachel Vendel. As St. Francis, Annie Clark.
Point coach, we call that one. Good timeout by Katie.
Now it's 8-5 as substitutions. Checking back in for USF. This will be Kylie Top, a 5'7" Frosh, who did her prep work at Bishop Lewis High School in Fort Wayne. And Peyton Hart with the high toss, punches one into the net, and Bethel gives it right back. 9-5 St. Francis. In case you're just joining us, Bethel won the first game of the match, 25-23. And now to serve for St. Francis, Maylee Steckelberg, the freshman from Liberty High School in Olentangy, Liberty High School, up on the front line. This one deflects off of Arnold, but that'll be a kill for Michaela Hitsong, and it is now 10-5. The biggest lead for USF on the evening is on the scoreboard right now here at Mike Lightfoot Court, 10-5. Steckelberg again. Armand will try to punch one to the far corner. Nice play to keep it alive by Top. This one deflects, and once again, St. Francis has found a whole nother gear, Kate, at this point in time, and Katie's over here just shaking her head.
What they're letting the Cougars do what they want to do right now, which is, you know, they've got a great setter, getting the ball to her. She's able to push out a nice ball, and they're taking advantage of it.
St. Francis has set up the nice block by the Pilots. Kept alive. Oh, my. I thought that play was going to end. Oh, a nice little redirect by Maddie Beaver. And that ends the scoring. Making it 11-6 now.
Yeah, Beaver, she seems to be a little frustrated right now. I want to see her come out of that frustration. That was a great play. That's the middle of that court that we talked about being wide open.
And then the Pilots give it right back. That ended we'll call it a 3-0 run.
And that is the kind of mistake you don't want to see your senior go back and make. Or junior, sorry.
And once again, now to serve will be Seifring to the back line. Bethel will come back on the attack, and the Pilots off the miss hit from Gruzdoff now find themselves down 13-6. It's a completely different Bethel team than what we saw in first game.
Yep, it is.
I think they left it all on the floor.
We need to see somebody step up on that side and lead the team and say, this is not okay.
Cougars on the far side try to answer the bell. The two-hand dunk is good for Megan DiAgostino. It's now 14-6. The 30th ranked team starting to pump its muscles, if you will. To serve it, Seifring again. And the 50-50 ball is won by the Pilots at the net. That makes it 14-7.
Nice little joust there. She goes up, presses second, gets the ball back over. 2 against 1, and the 1-1.
Madison Beaver to serve now for Bethel University. St. Francis on the attack.
Great set.
Oh, my. A powerful shot home by Michaela Hissong.
Great hit, but you got to give the credit to the setter because everybody thought the ball's going to the middle. Every blocker on the Pilots thought this is going to the middle. She pushes that sweet ball to the outside, leaves her hitter almost with no one and just pounds the ball away. That's what a great setter is going to do. See what's going on the other side of the net and give her hitters the opportunity to be one-on-one or one-on-none. 5-3. Taylor at 6-4. Bethel at 4-5. Goshen at 4-6. And Grace at 2-5. Losers of 5 straight. That'll give you an idea. As you look ahead to Friday, Huntington has a couple of matches against Milligan College and Georgetown, Kentucky. St. Francis will be taking on Union College. And IU South Bend, a team that Sarah and I will see tomorrow. Grace will be at Lawrence Tech. Taylor will be at Walsdorf in the Vitterbo tournament. And Bethel will be taking on Doane University at the Julie Martin Classic at Medina. And they'll also be taking on Union College. And Indiana Wesleyan will be at the Aquinas Cornerstone Invitational, where they'll be matched up against Thomas More and 16th ranked Aquinas. That's what's going on in the Crossroads League coming up this Friday. Once again, 15-7 St. Francis. Katie Reese has sent both of her timeouts to the press table. She's done. We'll see what can happen. Here's a block kept alive nicely by USF. Hart with a missed time play, falls one to the floor, and makes it 15-8. Pilot score coming out of the timeout. Second time in the game. Play, and that's what Bethel did a lot of that first game. Every ball wasn't a hard hit or a kill down the line or anything like that. They were finding a good place on the court where the Cougars weren't.
There's the serve again for Rachel Vendel. Over to the far side. This one blocked and killed away. I thought McDonald was going to be able to keep that alive. That was not the case. It's now 16-8 favor of USF. And now to serve, Michaela Hissong. Michaela with the jump right-handed serve, sends one backwards, played there by Vendel. Over on the near side, Hart. Diving play kept alive nicely by Pilat. Here's Downs up to the net. Over now here to McDonald. McDonald with the soft toss. Over to the far side. A great block by McDonald. And the Pilots will take advantage of that. And they close the gap to 16-9.
That's the other thing I think we were seeing from the Pilots the first game. They were getting a lot more touches, not more blocks like that. that was stopping the Cougars from getting what they wanted to do.
Only the second time in this game that the Pilots have scored 2 unanswered points. And so much for that. That one is sent packing by St. Francis. Megan D'Agostino, that makes it 17-9 USF. Pilots won the first game of the match 25-23. Cougars trying to even it here. Here's one punch to the line. It touches the line. And it's now 17-10. Pilots will take that one. The line judge over there making the call was Jason Maynard, the South Bend native. Now Mackenzie Williams, a local product from nearby Elkhart Memorial High School, is going to serve for Bethel University. Her club a 17-10 trailer. And the service error, costly, and makes it 18-10.
I like that they're trying to put pressure on him with that tough serve, but at the same time, there's a good and a bad miss, and the bottom of the net is not where we want the ball to be.
And Clark on the serve for USF. Hart with a nice dig. Clark digs it off, and that one will fall harmlessly to the floor. The Pilots will take the point and close the gap to 18-11. As Hart will come in to serve. Peyton, who prepped at East Noble High School. She came into today's match with a team high of 121 kills in 9 matches. Her serve right off the shoot tops dug here by St. Francis. Hart with a diving one-hander to keep it alive. Over the near side, it's Rusdorf. St. Francis back on the attack. Downs to the net. Rusdorf sends one, and it's deflected off the hands of Kylie Top. Pilots will take the point, close the gap to 6 at 18-12 USF. And Hart again to serve. With that high toss and into the net. Another error. The 4th error in the game. 19-12. Talk about that high toss that she has there, Sarah.
It's a good toss. She needs to keep it out in front of her a little bit more. You see she's having to lean back for it. And as a jump server, a true jump server, we want to jump into the court and not be going backwards. That's a hard ball to hit if the ball's too far behind you. Jump serve is all about the toss.
Arnold's kept that one alive at the net, up to the near side. Pilots tried to come away with a block, couldn't do it.
Great play by that outside hitter over there. The ball was a little bit tight. Michaela, she was able to take it, swing it off the block, get what we call a tool, push that ball off the hands of the other blockers and outside the court.
Miley Steckelberg again to serve, and that's service error. That's the one thing the Cougars have done really well tonight. I've only got them with 2 errors on the service in the first game.
Yeah.
It makes it 20-13. And
as a coach, you kind of bang your head with that one.
Yep.
Get the ball in the court, let us play.
The Pilots have really struggled here. And the Pilots actually came into the game averaging 2 assists per game compared to their opponents, 0.91. Now 21-14. Favor of the Cougars as Madison Beaver will serve again to the right, to the left. Stationary serve goes to the back line, played there by Top. And St. Francis once again dominant up front, 22-14. This is almost 2 different teams.
Yeah, it really is right now. Bethel's got to get back into there, get the momentum coming back towards them.
Maria Pilak on the serve. Hart plays it. Beaver comes back over the little dink. Played nicely by Pilak. Blocked away. This time shutting the door was Rusdorf and Vandergrift. Pilots score the point. It's now 22-15 St. Francis. Now one thing about this Pilot team, it's really evident that the kids like each other.
Yeah, they do. You can definitely tell that.
Here's the serve. Marshall. This one punched to the outside. Played by Beaver. Hart. Marshall with a diving save to keep it alive. There's the punch side. Downs plays it. Back in play is Bendel. Up on the front line, and that'll be a point for the Pilots as the Cougars are in the net, making it 22-16. Bethel has closed the gap to 6 now.
Cougars got to take care of that ball. That was a free ball. Pilots put it over, gave him a nice easy one. Cannot pass that ball that tight to the net.
Rachel Bendel with the serve just over the tape, played by Hissong. And the Pilots, their first 3-0 run of the second game. It's now a 5-point Cougar lead. Scott Haddix is changing the look. Here's a nice play by Downs to keep it alive. This one finally hammered home by Annie Clark. That ends that 3-0 run. It now makes it 23-17 St. Francis. And now to serve for St. Francis, Michaela Hissong. Jump serve, she punches it with the right hand, up to the net. McDonald scores. You know, it appears that sometimes she's going to go up and take the big hit, and she gives you the changeup.
Yeah, and it's working. It's working well when she's placing them right at the top of the key.
23-18 now, as coming on to serve will be the youngster from the Bluegrass State, Bridget Downs, who recently went over the 1,000 mark. Here's one right up the elevator shaft. Hart sends one, played by Pelak to the far side. Now, here come the Pilots back on the attack. Hart sends one, and she scores. Makes it 23-19.
That's a real nice cut. Drops the thumb, puts it inside that 10-foot line. Hard cross ball. That's a hard ball to dig. Hard ball to hit.
And now Bridget Downs to serve again. This one right to the front of the net. And this one scores down the near side by Hart. And Bethel.
Now we're seeing some emotion from Bethel.
Now it's 23-20. Just moments ago, the Pilots were left dead. Trailing by 8 at 16-8.
I think what we're seeing is Bethel plays better when their emotions are high. They're cheering each other on, and now we're starting to see that again like they did in the first game, and they're getting it done.
Up the elevator shot. Here's McDonald with a pass over here to the near side. Bendel sends it back to the Cougar side. There's a block, and the Pilots score again. Abby Arnold shuts the door, and Bethel has roared back and is within 2 at 23-21. A 10-0 run by Bethel. And Scott Haddix wants to stop the momentum. He's going to take a timeout. Just moments ago, Sarah, it was 21-13. And here we are. It's now 23-21. What a great run by the Pilots to get right back in.
It's
the Loyola Marymount, some impressive numbers. Led the nation in kills, and she still holds 5 NCAA national records, the most by a single individual. Have you thought about that?
my shoulder does occasionally when it clicks. But
records include single season kills per game at 7.78, career kills per game at 6.43. She earned a 2-time AVCA National Player of the Week, and of course has won 2 state championships. So when you are sitting down at and talking with Rob McFarland about which Michigan City State Championship meant the most, the Elston Red Devils or the Michigan City Rogers volleyball, who wins that argument?
I don't know. I would guess it's probably harder to watch. I know as a coach it's always harder to watch than be a player where you have no control out of it. But you know, my parents, it's interesting when you talk to them. They'll say one of them got more nervous when my brother played, and the other one got more nervous when I played. So who knows? And I just went out and played.
And the Pilots are back within 120. No, they're going to say that was St. Francis. Excuse me. 24-21. Now St. Francis will be serving for game number 2. And they can even up the match at 1-1. And they'll call on their quarterback, Nikki Marshall, the 5'9" senior. And we'll see what she can do here. 134 digs on the year coming into today's match. Here's Downs. Pass it up over here to the near side. McDonald goes cross court. Marshall passes over here to the near side. Downs sends one up. Hart comes back. Nicely played by Pelak for St. Francis. To the back line, out goes long. Now it's 24-22. Elliott will be, once again, game point. Coming out of the game will be Ava Kunkler, and back in will be Katerina DiBasio. We haven't called her name very often tonight. Here's the serve. A collision on the back line. And just like that, Katerina checks into the ballgame, and she punches one home. And it's now 25-22. Cougars will win game number 2. And just like that, we're at 1-1. And we'll be back to talk about game 3 of the match. Live from Bethel University. A great one here to start the Crossroads League season. Sarah and I'll return right after this on Regional Radio Sports.
It took me a long time to be able to say Chandler has cancer, because that is such a scary word. When St. Jude finds something that works well with a certain cancer, they share that with everybody. And knowing that we don't have to pay for all of the medical expenses, that's huge. We just have to worry about helping Chandler, and he's just my heart.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Discover better banking at Teachers Credit Union. More than 300,000 already have. They know better banking means better rates on savings, loans, and mortgages, and being treated like more than a number. At TCU, you don't have to be a teacher to enjoy better banking, just someone who enjoys personal attention and solid financial solutions. Go to tcunet.com/betterbanking to learn more. TCU, better rates, better service, better banking. Teachers Credit Union deposits are federally insured by the NCUA, and we're an equal housing opportunity. NMLS number 686706.
Manage your money like a pro with TCU. You can score big with the TCU Debit MasterCard that gives you cash back on everyday purchases. Plus, you'll win with access to hundreds of free ATMs across Indiana. Check out TCU's starting lineup of services to help you manage your cash and build your savings. Visit TCUnet.com to kick off your better banking experience. See TCU Debit MasterCard terms and conditions for details. Alliance 1 and Co-op ATMs within Indiana are free. New members are subject to a $7 membership fee and $5 initial share deposit.
Welcome back here inside the Gage Gymnasium. Paul Condrey along with Sarah McFarland Hendricks. A scoreboard update over at the Gundon Gymnasium. Goshen won the second game of their match against the conference champion Marion. Marion won game 1 25-20. Goshen battles back to win game 2 25-22. Case sure just hop along in our game. Bethel won their first game 25-23. St. Francis battled back to win 25-22. All right, Sarah, let's talk about this pivotal third game of the match.
Yeah.
Is there an advantage?
No, you know what? It's almost like completely starting over. You're 1-1. You each got a win under your belt. So now it's kind of okay. Who's going to come out and start off strong and stay that way? I think we've seen glimpses of what St. Francis can do, and they kind of are playing faucet volleyball, is what Benio used to call it, because they kind of turn it on and off. And that's, we've seen glimpses of how good they can be and how good they are and why they've got that ranking. And then they kind of let up a little bit, and then Bethel creeps back in. And I think the other thing we saw is in game one, Bethel played with a lot of emotion. They rode those highs, took those good swings, made smart plays, and then got into the second game and kind of got complacent, and then Cougars come back and just say, no, we're gonna go with this. So I think when we're coming back out here, it's okay. Now we've each got a win under our belt. Now let's both settle down and play what we want to play. It's going to start with the pass. Who's going to serve and pass the ball? We saw some errors in that second game, and that let Bethel come back in, and then Bethel missed some, and that let St. Francis come back in. So limiting those errors and playing what their coaches want them to play.
The Pilots will be on the left side of your screen in case you're just joining us, decked out in the blue shorts and the white jerseys. The Cougars of the University of St. Francis in Fort Wayne, Indiana, decked out in the black shorts, black jerseys with the blue trim and the white numbers. As St. Francis will serve from right to left to get the party started. But here's a play by Kelsey Grosdorf to give Bethel a 1-0 lead here in game number 3.
That's a great play. Smart play. Put the ball where they aren't. Doesn't always have to be a hard hit.
Rachel Vendel will serve now for Bethel. She'll punch it with the right hand, goes into the deep near corner, or is played by Hissong. And the Pilots with an early 2-0 lead. Let's get you our lineups out there. For Bethel, obviously, we already mentioned Rachel Vendel. She has Bridget Downs out there on the floor with her. Madison Beaver, McDonald up on the front line along with Hart. As the serve goes back, played along the far back line by Ann Clark. Here's one way up the elevator shaft. Nearly hit the rooftop here at the Gage Gymnasium. Peyton Hart comes back. Diving play by Marshall to keep it alive for USF. And here's a kill on the right side by Katerina DiBiasio. And it's now 2-1 in favor of the Pilots. As St. Francis will serve for the first time in the third game. St. Francis along the front line. They have Seifring along with Pilak. Also Katerina DiBiasio. Here's one blocked out of bounds, and the Pilots will pick up their third point, now lead at 3-1. Now call on Bridget Downs. Downs 150 digs, 11 aces, 10 assists, 35 kills on the year. Over to the near side, Maddie Beaver. Passes to the far side. Hard with the roundhouse right. She scores, making it 4-1 BU. And Downs again to serve. Substitutions being made. Gabby North, a product of Homestead High School, checks in. As Michaela Hisson will exit stage right. Here's the serve by Downs. Knuckleball. Little shankopotamus right there.
I like that, though. Go at the girl who just came in.
And here's a little redirect by Maddie Beaver. She scores to give Bethel their largest lead of the third game at 5-1.
Katie calling where the server should put the ball, and she's playing it smart. Let's go at the girl who just got subbed in, got a little pressure on her, and make her pass the ball.
Marshall with the save here. Here's the two-hand punch. What a diving play by Maddie Beaver. Or check that was Bridget Downs, my apologies. Here's one hammered home. And they're going to call a double hit, right?
Yep.
6-1 Pilots.
Calling a lift on her.
And Bridget will serve again.
Downs just making some great plays back there. She's so quick.
Downs punches one this to the back line. Now they're going to the front line. There's one deflected and a nice play in the middle there by Kendra Seifring, and that ends the drought. That makes it 6-2. A 5-0 run by Bethel right there. I'll check that 4-0 run. And now substitutions being made. Miley Steckelberg will check back in. Exiting will be DeBasio and Gabby North, respectively. Downs over here to Hart. Sends it to the back line for Steckelberg, plays it. There's one hammered home again. Arnold and McDonald shut the door. Give Bethel a 7-2 advantage.
Arnold does a great job of reaching towards the back line. McDonald set a great block so that the middle only just has to work on getting over there and reaching over.
You think Scott Haddix is
I know that.
Unhappy with his team right now?
I know that body language from Scott. He's taking a walk towards the back bleachers. Yeah, he's kind of going, okay.
Well, here's a nice play on the far side by Kendra Seifring to score the point for St. Francis. 7-3.
There's also a time as a coach where you got to let your team figure it out. You know, you put some new kids in, you try some different things, and then at some point, they just got to figure some things out.
On the front line, they'll set up Hart. And now St. Francis coming back on the attack. This one goes wide, and the Pilots will secure the point to take an 8-3 lead coming into this as Peyton Hart will come again to serve. Peyton, who did her prep work out in Kendallville at the East Noble High School. Here's a diving play, keeping it alive. Well, that was a great serve by Hart. She's setting up the stage here to Arnold. Arnold with the howitzer. Kept nicely alive by Steckelberg on the back line. Over to the far side. This one deflected off Pilak to keep alive. Diving play. Far side again. This one played nicely by Kylie Top. Over to the near side. And this one goes off a Pilot. And that long rally won by St. Francis. That should give them some confidence to win that long rally. That was the longest rally of the match thus far.
Yep, survival.
And now St. Francis again to serve. This one into the tape, a rare error. 9-4 on the service error. And Abby Arnold, another Valparaiso Viking to serve. Down on the near sideline. St. Francis on the attack. Hart digs it out. Back here to the far side, a score here for Mackenzie Williams, giving Bethel a 10-4 advantage. And Abby, one more opportunity to serve. This one caught the tape. And the service error moves St. Francis closer at 10-5. The Pilots, who by the numbers have been really, really good in the error to ace ratio. Here's Hart going to the back line, played with two hands by Pilak. Here's one sent home by St. Francis, and now they've closed the gap to 4 at 10-6. Michaela Hissong to serve for St. Francis. Hissong, played by Hart. To the net they go. This one deflects and goes up the elevator shaft. Now St. Francis back on the attack. Nice little play there by Megan D'Agostino.
Yeah, and the Cougars starting to get their momentum going because they're able to get the ball to the middles. If you get the ball to the middles, it's going to open up the outsides as well.
3 unanswered by St. Francis. Peyton Hart. Oh, the nice little redirect. There'll be a score here for Madison Beaver. That ends the 3-0 run by St. Francis, and Bethel's advantage is now 11-7. And now to serve again for the Pilots, Madison Beaver. Line drive knuckleball played by Marshall. This one blocked home and kept alive. Boy, I tell you what, the Pilots really fortunate on that one. Sometimes it's better to be luckier than good. Is that what it is?
Yeah, sometimes it's luck.
And that certainly was one of those. Bethel with a 5-point lead here in game 3 in a 1-1 match. And a timeout, Scott Haddix. Scott immediately will come out to talk to Maria Pilak. So your thoughts here, Coach, on this one?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Scott right now, I'm going, okay, I need someone to kind of take control of this team. She's an upperclassman. She's a junior. She's your All-American setter. He's also questioning something that's going on with the play call. I'm thinking with when the ball went off the antenna. He's wondering why, if it was on the net, they couldn't play it. So I think he's just kind of questioning one of the calls. But, if I'm him, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I got to get a leader out there who's going to take this team and go, this is not okay. And if it's me, I'm looking at my upperclassman who's my All-American setter, who's kind of the quarterback of the team, and saying to her, okay, you got to take control of this team and not allow Bethel to get the momentum that they're going. Because obviously from what we've seen tonight is if Bethel gets their momentum going, that's when they take leads in this game. And as soon as St. Francis can get the ball to their setter, they're able to do so much more. Offensively, they have a few more weapons up at the net, and they're able to run some quicker things right at Bethel that they're not able to dig. But if they can't get the ball to their setter where they want it to go, they can't run what they want to run. So
Pilots will have on the floor Maddie Bieber along with Bridget Downs, Peyton Hart, McDonald also on the floor, along with Grudsdorf and Sue Vandergriff along that front line. As the serve will be Bieber from the left side to the right side, in case you're just joining us. 12-7 Pilots. 1-1 is our score here in the third game. There's a nice play here on the right side by Ibasio. And that makes it 12-8. As now it'll be Marshall to serve again. Diving play kept alive nicely. And Cougars score again, coming out of the timeout. A pair of quick ones, too. Just like that, it's a three-point game.
Yep.
And Marshall again to quarterback this play. The former Bearcat, Muncie Central High School. Passes over the near side. Nice play by Grudsdorf. And this one is hammered home. And out of that timeout, the Cougars making quick work of the Pilots. And it's a two-point game again.
Yeah, Cougars finding the corners. Very hard to play defense in those corners.
Marshall to serve. And this one handcuffs Bridget Downs, and the ace makes it now 12-11. So we now have a one-point game here in this third game of the match. All courtesy of the serves of Nikki Marshall.
Again, we just see how the serve and pass regulates how this game's going to go.
That's Marshall's 10th ace of the season. There's one deflected, kept alive by Pelak of St. Francis. The Pilots are able to score here to end the drought. That makes it 13-11 Pilots. And now Pilots will call upon Rachel Vendel to serve. Here's the serve to the back line. Marshall plays it there for USF. There's a ball hit up the elevator shaft by Pelak. Downs kept alive. Now Part will send it back, and a diving play kept nicely alive. And the Cougars are able to come back and secure the point. Now it's 13-12. Bethel with the lead. And Clark with 10 aces on the season. Serves off the shoot, tops its heart. McDonald is there. Marshall kept it nicely alive. Over to Clark. And the Pilots score the point, making it 14-12. Kylie Todd back in the game now, giving Ann Clark a rest. To the back line now. Bridget Downs on that last serve.
Great set. Great dig.
Downs passes it over here to Hart. Hart goes to tries to go long, can't. Making it 14-13.
If anyone's wondering too, that libero cannot use her hands to set the ball if she comes in front of that 10-foot line. If she's backcourt, that's one of the rules of being a libero, is that she cannot set unless she is behind, she cannot use her hands to set unless she is behind that 10-foot line.
And just like that, we are tied 14-14. Marion won the third set over at Goshen, 25-20. And they now lead that one 2-1, and the service error gives the Pilots the point, 15-14. Second service error of this game on USF. Now it'll bring Mackenzie Williams to the forefront with her serve with the right hand. Hits it into the tape, and they give it right back. We're tied at Bart Stars, 15-15. Kendra Seifring, Fort Recovery High School, first team Crossroads League performer a year ago to serve for the 30th ranked Cougars. And this serve is out of bounds. Oh, they're going to say that went in.
It's right on that line. It's hard to tell from this angle, but
16-15. St. Francis, for the first time in the third game, has the lead. There's a serve again. Playing to the strengths. Over the far side, Hart is there. Oh, a diving play by Steckelberg to keep that alive. To the front line, they're setting up Hart. Oh, a great diving play on the far side by Rachel Vendel. There's one blocked home, and nope, they're going to say it was killed away by DiAgostino. And now St. Francis with a 17-15 lead. And Katie Weiss is going to take a timeout. Her first.
Again, I think this is Katie. You know, they got a couple points on us. This can easily come back towards us. One of the things right now, and I know our assistant coach Lisa DeJesus very well. Lisa was a setter for me on that state team when we won. If I'm her, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I got to get that setter to get her feet to the ball and help out her hitters a little bit here. You know, she could see Katie saying, okay, we got to pass the ball, but then when we get there, how are we setting up our hitters and covering our hitters? That last ball kind of, again, was getting tight to the net, and if you put that ball tight to the net against this team, they're going to get a block against it. So some of that is just Beaver getting her feet to the ball, getting in a good position to get the ball to her hitters.
You know, one thing that when you've been wearing this headset for 31 years like I have, I always find it really interesting is when you zero in during the huddle on who's paying attention and who's not. There's nothing that drives me more frustrating is when I'm sitting down here at the broadcast table down there or up here, and student athletes are looking up in the crowd, looking at mom and dad, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever the case may be. Something that was very, very evident here for Katie Weiss's group. Every gal that was in that huddle, all the way as they formed that semicircle that was zeroed in on what Katie was talking about, and that's a great buy-in thing for the pilots.
Yeah, that's just respect for their coach and listening to what she has to say. That's a great thing to have.
Now it's important for the pilots to be able to come back out of this timeout to try to record a point as Madison Candler, I believe, who's going to be in to serve, and she punches one where to the far side, Hart tries to hammer one home, and what a nice play by DiAgostino to give the Cougars an 18-15 advantage. Momentum is definitely switched.
Yeah, Hart kind of struggles with that off the net ball. She has to take a little something off, reach high and deep, and get the ball in the court.
Vendel on the back line. Mackenzie White with a nice play. Up to the front they go, and trying to tap one home is Beaver. She can't corral at 19-15. And just like that, a 4-0 run. We were tied once at 15 all. Over to the near side, Arnold. This one off the tape, pushed over by Beaver. Along the near side, what a hammer on the near side by Michaela Hisson. 20-15 Cougars.
Again, Beaver just kind of a half step short of that block. Then tried to reach in and got some of the net.
The serve goes long and wide. And that'll be an error. It'll be 20-16 on the service error. And substitutions, and the pilots will call on Peyton Hart. We'll see if she can correct that serve toss up here. This one right off the shoot tops. Over on the near side, Arnold tries to go back. Marshall was there for St. Francis. Passes to the near side. Hart over to the near side. The one-hand touch is good for Kelsey Grosdorff, and the pilots score the point. Makes it 20-17. So break that serve down for me, Coach, if you can.
Again, when she gets a good toss and can get a swing on it, she has a great serve. If the ball goes too far behind her, that's when she struggles. So she's got a good toss right now.
There's a diving play. Downs kept it alive. Williams comes back and she scores. Bethel not done yet.
I like that they're using her out of the back row. She's adding that third hitter.
20-18 St. Francis here in the third game. We're tied 1-1 overall. Hard again. 3 consecutive serves that put the Pilots in play. Williams over to the near side. Arnold is able to score. 20-19.
Strong swing by Arnold. She gets up, has such a quick arm swing. Almost looks like she's not going to get there, and then boom, swings real fast. Great play.
Yeah, once again, it will be hard to serve. This one just over the tape, and she comes up with the ace, and we're tied 20-20. Coach, you brought it to the forefront about her serve. All the last 5 of them have been spot on for her.
She's got to just keep it going now, not reach high and deep. That's actually, saw that one coming.
Yep. And give it right back now, 21-20 St. Francis.
It's a great serve. It's just getting her consistency there.
And now St. Francis to serve. Downs plays it out. Arnold tries to punch one to the back line. Cougars now 2 unanswered, lead at 22-20. And now St. Francis, here's Downs. Over to the near side, here's one punched home by Kelsey Grunstup that makes it 22-21 St. Francis. Arnold coming out and checking in for the first time tonight will be number 2, Kennedy Kintz. Kennedy from Fort Wayne Blackhawk Christian High School has some hip issues. As you can see, that right hip is taped heavily. Yeah, St. Francis scores the point, making it 23-21. And Kintz immediately coming out, and Arnold back into the, nope, check that.
In order for the libero to come back in, Arnold had to come back in. It's a fun libero switch.
And now to serve for the Cougars. As Hislong, and she mishits one. It's now 23-22 St. Francis here in this crucial third game. As Maddie Bieber will serve. Bieber, who had 24 kills in her junior year in the state championship game in high school. Over on the right side, nice little soft toss. Is able to score on the far side by Clark. And now St. Francis will be serving for the third game and a 2-1 lead in the match. Marshall plays one, and this one's knocked out of bounds. St. Francis wins game number 3, 25-23, to take a 2-1 lead. Once again, game number 1, the Pilots won 25-23. St. Francis in the last 2 games, 25-22 and 25-23. Sarah and I will return right after this on the Regional Radio Sports Network.
Every corner of the country, from small towns and big cities, they all shared one thing in common. They belonged to a family called Marines, a tough and determined few dedicated to protecting everything we hold sacred and still become. Celebrate the history of those proud few who have earned the title Marine.
There are those who dedicate themselves to a sense of honor, to a life of courage, and a commitment to something greater than themselves. They have always defended this nation and each other. They still do. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Welcome back here on Regional Radio Sports. I'm Paul Condry, along with Tanya Connie with all the details as she's producing today's game. Sarah McFarland Hendricks also with me here in the broadcast booth. Just want to give you an update. Hannah Curtis, who of course is the Bethel Junior Varsity coach, her volleyball team right now at 1-2 on the season. Want to send out some props to her pops, as Bart Curtis, the head football coach at Warsaw Community High School, was named the Indianapolis Colts National Football League Coach of the Week this past week, and fortunately to be able to quarterback that program in the last 20 years for the hometown team, and I was able to call Bart and give him the good news, and exciting for what's going on with the Warsaw football program down there. And of course, Bart been successful where he's gone during his time, including whether it be at Maconaquah High School, New Prairie High School, Mishawaka, and now, of course, at Warsaw Community. So congratulations goes out to Hannah's pops, Bart Curtis, on winning the Colts Coach of the Week. And don't forget, we have a slew of high school football games coming your way on Friday. The Homewood Flossmoor squad of Craig Museum will be in town to take on Corey Yeoman's Penn Kingsman. That game will be on 91.1 FM. Yours truly, I'll be in LaPorte as the fourth-ranked Valparaiso Vikings will be taking on the LaPorte Slicers. Valparaiso did not give Griffith a first down and held them to minus 55 yards of rushing last week as they improved to 2-0 in the season. And several other games on the calendar, so make sure you check it out at rrsn.com. Okay, Sarah, crucial point now for Katie Weiss and company here. They've got to be able to get off to a good start, and when they get that good start, they got to finish.
Yeah, this is kind of one of those games, it's a teaching moment. You know, when you're talking about, okay, what kind of team are we going to be? Are we going to be a team that kind of comes out and goes, okay, we're done, or are we going to come out and be a team that's going to fight back? So, you know, right now it's looking for someone to step up, and I think, you know, when Abby Arnold's on the floor, she really takes control, and you see that, and they want to get the ball to her. So when she's not in the front row, finding somebody who's going to put the ball away, you know, I don't have the stats in front of me, but it's difficult when you're a middle hitter to play that role, because unless the pass is there, you're not going to be able to get the ball. She's only on the court for the 3 rotations. She's in the front row. So calling upon, you know, the libero, the setter, people who are on the floor all the time to keep that energy level up.
Bethel will be serving from the right to the left on your screen. Once again, decked out blue shorts, white jerseys. St. Francis, black shorts, black jerseys, trimmed in blue. Bethel will start with the lead. 3 of the 4 games, they have grabbed a 1-0 lead. And they're there again. Once again, serving is Madison Beaver. Maddie will stationary punch with the knuckleball. Going cross court here. McDonald was there with the block. This time deflected. Over on the near side. This one sent long off the hand of Kelsey Grudstoff. St. Francis evens the card at 1-1.
Just hoping to get some hands on that, get a little touch, but did not get it.
And now to serve will be Maria Pilak. Beaver over here, the near side. Grudstoff tries to go to the back line where it's played by Steckelberg. St. Francis to keep it high, Steckelberg. There's McDonald. Had it slapped right back in her face. Beaver over to the near side. Grudstoff puts St. Francis back in play. And that time, Bridget Downs was anticipating the play, and on the deflection, it goes awry. It's now 2-1 St. Francis.
Downs kind of moved out of that perimeter defense and rotated over to the line and just left that open.
Here's one slap and kept alive by Marshall on the far side. His song. And now it's a 3-1 Cougar lead as they run off 3 straight. Sarah and I'll be tomorrow over at the Student Activity Center. We'll have the other St. Francis, if you will, St. Francis out of Illinois. They'll be matched up against Jamie Ashmore's as McDonald scores here. They'll be matched up against Indiana University South Bend.
And there's a set I like to see from Beaver. If I remember correctly, she wasn't always originally a setter. You know, she was a hitter, and like you said, did some great things with hitting in her career. So that's the kind of set to the outside that I like to see from her, and then obviously it sets her hitters up for success.
Beaver to the near side. Hart had a block. Beaver kept it alive. Over to McDonald. AJ with a pass over here. This one punched nicely by Vendel. And The Cougars off the hand of Megan D'Agostino scores, and it's now 4-2 St. Francis here in this pivotal fourth game.
And here you see the experienced number 12 Maria Setter, one-handed. The ball's about to go over. She brings it back with one hand, gives it to her hitter.
This song with the play. Downs with the dig. Once again, a lot of play at the net. Downs to Hart. Hart diving play. Marshall kept it alive. Maddie Beaver sends one up the elevator shed. Now Downs over to the right side. Hart had a shot blocked away. Nice block by Megan D'Agostino, making it 5-2. That front line is just absolutely killing the Pilots at this stage.
Yeah. This is a rotation where they struggle. Again, it's when we got a different middle in there. We got to get something out of our offense.
Over here on the near side, Hart punches one, kept alive nicely by Pelak of St. Francis. And the Cougars are on a roll.
It was a little bit of luck. She got lucky there. It wasn't kind of in the right spot. Feet were kind of all over the place, but was able to tap it through.
All right, so the score is officially 5-3. They had three different scores up on the score board here just moments ago. The officials trying to sort out some of the dynamics on what the score was. The referee Dan Motz, Elkhart native, is over there trying to sort out the dynamics. 5-3 is what the score should be. That's what I have on my running score, but nobody's asking me that. However, during men's basketball, women's basketball, when I'm down there on that bench, I get asked all kinds of crazy things by the varsity coaches.
I can imagine.
I recall one time during one of the Crossroads League games saying something to somebody, and the official thought I was yelling at him, and he comes over and he says, "I'm going to throw you out of here." And I said, "I didn't say a thing."
Right.
It's one of those things. So they're still trying to sort it out.
They're going with 6-2.
So we'll change it on our scorecard. After the score change, it'll be St. Francis 6, Bethel 2. And Tanya will make that note on the screen as well. St. Francis with a 4-point lead. Here's a...
see, the ball never lies.
Yeah.
That's what I was taught. Knew something was wrong.
6-3 as the Pilots will take care of that service there by the Cougars. We'll be back here again, I believe, next weekend as the Pilots will be in action. And here's one hammered home. Big hit that time by Ann Clark. 7-3.
I remember in high school, Clark used to play a little bit of middle as well, so that she hits that quick ball real nice.
Over here to the near side, and Pilots run out of space. 8-3. The mojo certainly on Scott Haddock's squad right now.
Yep, this is where it's kind of make or break time for the Pilots. They got to stop the bleeding.
Nikki Marshall with the serve to her counterpart on the near side, number 4, Rachel Vendel. Marshall sends one over here to the near side, and this one goes out of bounds. Pilots will take that point and run home. 8-4. They close the gap. McDonald comes out. Back in will be Mackenzie Williams, and Mackenzie will serve over on the far side back line. After a couple of dribbles, jump serve goes to the back line where it's played there by Gabby North. Williams passes over here to the near side. Hart. Oh, nice play here on the near side. And
got a little lucky, got a called net.
8-5. Pilots with 2 unanswered.
That was a great line hit. We haven't seen a lot of line hits tonight, a lot of cross court.
And once again, Williams on the serve. Sends it down to the back line, played by the former Homestead Spartan, Gabby North. And the Pilots again close the gap as they come up with a stone wall along the far side.
Not sure that one cleared the net, but you know what? That's why you don't stop until you hear a whistle.
Williams again serves. North again with the play on the back line. A block. Marshall keeps it alive as Arnold and Hart were there with the block. Williams to Beaver. Arnold is there and hammers it home. Now it's within one at 8-7.
That's a great call. Beaver knows, okay, we're kind of back against the wall. Who am I going to give the ball to? I'm going to give the ball to the one who's putting it down.
This has all been off the serve of Williams. She goes back, and they're going right at Gabby North on that back line.
Yeah, she's passing a great ball right now.
And this one goes out of bounds, and it's now 9-7. That ends the Pilot run of 3 straight. And now it's time for Annie Clark. Clark, who started today's action with 10 aces, 42 digs, 18 assists. Williams, once again.
I love when they use Williams out of the back row.
Here's a 2-hand dunk attempt, and it's going to be good for a point. 9-8. So Sarah had a chance to spend her high school time with Bethel assistant coach Lisa DeJesus.
Yep, played with Lisa. She was my setter and actually played with Katie as well. We played club together, so I got to play with both of them. They were the older, wiser.
Here's one sent long, and St. Francis now with a 10-8 lead.
I say older. I think they were both 1 year ahead of me, but I'm still going to claim older, wiser.
Here's Peyton Hart with the serve. Our score is actually 9-9. There's a mistake on the scoreboard again.
Wow.
And now the Pilots with a 10-9 lead. Lisa, from what everybody tells me, and I remember her from her high school days, but I know also she played here, was a great quarterback.
Great quarterback. Lisa took control of the court. She was little in stature, but not in heart, because she ran a team.
10-10 now our score.
And when you talk about volleyball IQ, she's someone that you want your team to be like. She had a great volleyball IQ.
So you've got two gals who are the best of friends, coaching together. It makes fun coming to the court. There's a nice play by Peyton Hart. Bridget Downs with the keeper over there, and there's Armo with the hammer down. 11-10 Pilots. When you give Abby Arnold that running start, similar to what we saw from Haley Brown from years past, it's tough to defend. 11-10 BU.
They are definitely a better team right now when she is in that front row.
Here's one sent packing by Michaela Hissong to tie it up at 11-11. Our second tie of the game. And now one of the best players in the Crossroads League, Kendra Seifring, will serve. Hails from the Buckeye State. Her serve to the net. All deflected. Kept alive by Bridget Downs. Two-hand play to the far side. Here's one nicely blocked by Beaver on the far side. Redstoff sends one. Mackenzie Williams, with a diving play, kept alive by Belak. And this one slammed home. Maddie Beaver gives Bethel a 12-11 lead. McDonald checks in for Williams. Sarah, how can you, as a coach, you like Arnold when she's in that position of rotation? What can you do to try to keep her in there as much as possible?
Well, you're going to want to, that's a great block. You're going to want to look at how you're starting her, where you're starting her at. Remembering, we want her to be in the front row and get, obviously, the most out of it that she can. So trying to put her against maybe a smaller blocker or just the way you line up against the other team and seeing where they are is going to help her be more successful as well.
Here's one sent to the far corner and a score for Beaver, and the Pilots now lead it 14-11. Keep in mind, Bethel at one point in time was a 6-2 trailer, and Scott Haddix has seen enough. He wants to take a timeout. Once again, in case you're just joining us, Pilots won the first game of the match, 25-23. St. Francis bounced back to win games 2 and 3 by the score of 25-22 and 25-3 respectively. St. Francis jumped out to a 6-2 lead, and the Pilots have clawed their way back into it. We're tied at 10-10, 11-11, and then since that point in time, the Pilots with 3 unanswered now have a 14-11 lead as Coach Haddix has taken a timeout here in this one.
This is a grinding game, and right now I'm looking at both these huddles, and some of these girls look gassed, and I mean, they're both playing hard, had some ups, had some downs, but we're getting to the end here, and it's also going to be the team that's going to sustain, they got to sustain that high level, but also just keep playing hard. Work hard on and off the net. We're seeing some more rallies that are happening, and sometimes in those long rallies, it's who's going to continue to do and be disciplined, get on and off the net, get from your base to your defense, do the right thing all the time, even when you might be, gassed a little bit.
St. Francis looking ahead has matches against Union, Kentucky, IU, South Bend, Madonna, and Doane before they get back into league action on 9/11, where they take on Goshen. The local team, the Pilots here, have Doane, Nebraska, Union, Kentucky, Indiana Tech, and Madonna. So they'll all be playing it up at that invitational. And Bethel coming out of the timeout to serve. There's Miley Steckelberg playing one on the back line. Beaver passes over to the right side. Diving play kept alive by Kylie Topp. Here's one sent home on the far side by Michaela Hissong. And St. Francis scores coming out of the timeout to close the Bethel advantage to 14-12. And speaking of 12, Maria Pilak, the NAIA Honorable Mention All-American, with a pass to the far side. Oh, nice little hammer home by Megan D'Agostino. 14-13 Pilots.
Right place, right time.
And once again, it's all because of the Pilak serves. There's one hit to the back line, played there by Steckelberg. Pilots were there for the block along the near sideline. Here's one sent home again. Boy, I tell you, Michaela Hissong, when she's up on that far side, she is dynamite. 14-14 tie. And since Pilak has taken the serve hand, she's made quick work of the Pilots.
Oh, boy.
Well, the Pilots got a break there.
Oh, Scott's not happy, and he kind of has a right to be. That was a bit of a catch and throw, but you know what? Yeah, that's, again, what you just keep playing. You never know. Keep playing.
15-14 Pilots as Vendel with the serve. Played by Marshall. To the front they go, and a diving play. Trying to keep it alive to no avail. We're tied at 15-all. And Marion won the fourth set over Goshen, so Marion wins 3-1 on the road to the Gunman Gymnasium. They win the match 3-1. Marshall deflects it and kept it alive. Marshall sends it back over. Downs over here to the near side. Harder had a block. Downs will try to hustle back. What a diving play by her. What a hustle play.
Yeah.
There's a pass to the far side and a miscommunication between Downs and Vendel, and the Cougars jump back in front 16-15. And the serve again will be Michaela Hissong. And this one goes long.
Great call.
16-16 tie on the service error. In our fifth tie of the fourth game.
This could go either way, both teams are showing glimpses of just greatness, but, St. Francis has to sustain that high level that they can play at.
Bridget Downs to serve. Marshall plays it. They're setting up shop on the far side. Pilots try to secure the block, cannot get the job done. It's now 17-16 St. Francis.
Got to reach towards the end line. They reach towards the hitter, which is going to then block the ball out of bounds.
And it's Marshall again to serve. Marshall's low line drive serve. Played by Vendel. And McDonald tries to go on. A little bit too much. And I believe we're going to have a timeout. As it's now 18-16. So Katie Reese is going to take a timeout. And the Pilots after having tied the match at 14, 15, and 16. Now going into this timeout, 18-16. And once again, Scott has been able to weather the storm. It's interesting when Scott, he spends a lot of individual time with one particular player before he goes into the huddle with the team as a group. Can you maybe talk about some of that mindset right there?
Yeah, I mean, he's constantly teaching. So, you know, and that's a great thing about him is you're constantly teaching, you know, what can you do better in that situation. But as a coach, it's also sometimes what did you do well in that situation and how can we do that again? And he really is good at breaking things down and looking at individual players, individual skills, and giving a lot of feedback. As a player, I know I love that feedback, and I think a lot of players nowadays really thrive on the positive and the, I don't want to say negative, constructive criticism at times would be a better way to put it. But, you know, Katie's just got to get her team right now back on track. They have worked so hard this game. We got Abby up front, and if I'm my setter right now, if I'm Beaver, I'm going, okay, where do I want the ball to go? So now we got to get a pass. You know, cannot get the ball to the hitter we want to get it to unless we can pass this ball. So
Bethel has only played one match where they've gone 5 games. They played 3 games. Check that. They've played 3 matches with where they've gone 4. Here's Arnold. Just like that, she pays immediate dividends. It's now 18-17.
Yep.
St. Francis has been swept once and has 2-1 in 4-set games. And here we are in this 4th game, 18-17, the 30th ranked team in the country. This young Bethel team giving them all they can, and it's a 19-17 St. Francis now.
That's a great swing by Katerina. Seeing her kind of nursing her shoulder a little bit. I don't know if she's got an injury or coming back from something. When she gets a hold of the ball, she can really hit that line.
Here's the play by Bridget Downs, Arnold, and once again it's now 20-17. So the Pilots find themselves on the ropes here in this 4th game.
It might have been a little bit of a makeup call.
Clark again on the serve.
Great serve.
Playing over here to Downs. She comes back, tries to find a spot on the near sideline. Clark, and this one mishit off the hands of Kendra Seafring. The Pilots will take the point an inch a little closer at 20-18. Checking out Vendel. Back in Peyton Hart. And Hart to serve. Hart with that patented jump serve that goes high. Wind over in. Come over here to the nearest. Oh my, what a powerful play. But it's kept alive. Off the net. As the Pilots cannot secure the point, 21-18. Once again, sometimes, as we alluded to earlier, better be lucky than good.
Yeah.
That was one of those situations there.
Come with power the first time and put a little tap over the top, confusion.
Miley Steckelberg will serve along that far sideline, the Ohio native. Williams picks it off the shoot tops. Here's one hammered home by Grosdorf. 21-19. Bethel inches closer by 2. And once again, they'll call in Kennedy Kintz, the 5'5" Frosch, to serve. The Fort Wayne native slaps it with the right hand. Played by Top. Here's one powered home.
That's a huge play by Beaver.
21-20 as Madison Beaver gets her club within 1 here in this 4th game. 21-20, St. Francis. Kintz again with the serve. They're setting up the power play, and the Pilots are there to tie it up at 21 all. A pair of Stan Makitas on the board, number 21. Kintz again with the serve, nearly handcuffed Kylie Top, and this one goes long. Pilots lead 22-21. And this is all off the serve of Kennedy Kintz. Kintz has only played, this is only her 4th game of the year. It's been dealing with some hip issues, and you could see the wrap on her right side. She sends one long, and too many biscuits for breakfast, as Harry Carey used to say. We're tied at 22 all. On the service error. Kintz comes out and immediately back in. The Pilot quarterback, Bridget Downs. And to serve for St. Francis, it's Kendra Seifring. Seifring with the right-hand punch. Hart up to the near side, and a nice block by Megan D'Agostino gives the Cougars a 23-22 lead, and a timeout, Bethel.
That was a tight pass, which was a bit hard for Beaver to set, but she gave it away too quickly that they knew exactly what she was going to do, and then had a blocker standing right in front of her. So now, Bethel's just got to side out, and it's going to be a grind. It's going to be a little bit of luck in these next couple points, but it's also just going to be, again, who can be disciplined. We've got to be disciplined. We've got to pass the ball. Put up our good, quick offense that we want so we can beat the block on the other side, and then put the ball towards the middle, either middle of the court or towards those the corners where they haven't been able to defend tonight. They're right there. They just keep getting close and then falling back.
I really believe it comes down to St. Francis's experience of winning the Crossroads League regular season or co-championship last year, and of course advancing to the Crossroads League championship game, where they had a 2-0 lead, let that get away, lost 3-2, and of course some national tournament experience. So it's the St. Francis team that Scott Haddix expected to do well, and expected to do well here today, but this young Bethel University team is hanging tough after the departure of 7 players off last year's roster. And a group that only won 10 games. Here's Kendra Seifring with the right-handed serve. Hart passes over here to the near side, and this one immediately sent home by Megan D'Agostino. And St. Francis now will be serving for the 4th game and for the match. Seifring again with the roundhouse right. Hart. That'll do it. St. Francis wins it 25-22 as the Pilots, who won game 1 25-23, and St. Francis roars back with an exclamation point in the next 3 games and wins 25-22, 25-23, and 25-22. Sir, and I'll return right after this final timeout. Once again, St. Francis improves to 6-3 on the season. The Pilots fall to 4-6. Pilots now 0-1 in Crossroads League play. They're now 1-1 here at home. St. Francis improves to 1-0 in league play. Serving Indiana residents since 1985, Centier Bank remains committed to supporting students, schools, and families. Centier Bank is a proud sponsor of the Regional Radio Sports Network Performer of the Week in recognition of outstanding athletes. Visit Centier.com today to view this week's featured athlete. Centier Bank, member FDIC. Hi, this is Paul Condry of the Regional Radio Sports Network. That may be my professional title, but did you know that I'm also the son of a U.S. Navy World War II veteran and a proud father of a United States Marine? Let me share with you something very close to my heart. It's called the Simplify Fund, and its program America's Fund, which provides immediate lifetime support for post-9/11 wounded, critically ill, and injured members of the U.S. Armed Forces, veterans, and their families to ease recovery and transition back home to their communities. The Simplify Fund, serving those who preserve our freedom. The basic idea that drives these efforts is simple. For as much as our heroes have sacrificed, they deserve the best care and support available in their hour of need, whenever it may occur. The Simplify Fund, a 4-star charity and an A+ rating, has served over 16,000 members since 2004. The Simplify Fund, serving those who preserve our freedom. For more information, visit them online at www.simplifyfund.org. Welcome back here on Regional Radio Sports. Joining us now here on the post-game show is Bethel University volleyball coach Katie Weeks. Katie, first of all, let's just talk about that great start for your squad. I know you had to be very, very excited the way you were able to take advantage of a lot of emotion, we thought. I think Sarah and I both thought that this team, when they were emotionally jacked up, they're pretty good.
Yeah, unfortunately, we can't seem to sustain that, and that's, it's hard. I think that being able to start that way, and then you see just the roller coaster of like great sets, bad sets. Like we're playing awesome, we're playing terrible. It just shows that immaturity. It just shows the youth of our team right now.
Yeah, I think we kind of talked about that too. She was that outside set she was leading them into the blocks too much, which I'm sure you and Lisa both saw, and I saw you trying to correct her. And when you were passing the ball and able to get Abby the ball, and she's putting the ball away. But those are all things.
Not being able to get her enough balls. Yeah.
Which is hard as a middle,
Oh yeah.
All right. So what can you take positive out of this disappointing loss?
Well, I think I saw a lot of good things. Obviously being able to come out set one and play that tough, being able to battle back from 14-22 all the way up and really fight for that set. I see great things. I just feel like right now it's a mental game. There's so many mental mistakes, and those are harder to correct.
I think you have to be really, really happy in game number 2. You're down 16-8, and you could have got blown out of the gymnasium.
Right.
But you didn't. You got right back in it, and you were within a couple points there at the end.
Yeah.
But you never were able to get over the hump. But you have to like the fact, and you told me this during the last time we talked, and every time we have talked, that you really, really like the fight in this group of girls.
Yeah, absolutely. I do. I do feel like, we've got to learn how to battle when we're down. And right now, they're great and excited when they're up, and when they're down, they just sometimes lose that fire. And so it takes a little butt kicking to get them back in it. And I don't have to do that. I want that to come from them and be part of the game naturally. So there's just work to do.
When you look at the upcoming weekend, you're going to get a lot of non-league action coming your way. What do you want to be able to try to glean from this weekend's really kind of a wide variety of different talent pools?
Yeah, I think every time we play, there's so much to learn, and I honestly love sometimes to step away from league because we know we play the middle of the season, like each other so well, and it's nice to play teams where it's a fresh team and you don't know what they're going to do. I'd love to see my girls be a student of the game in those situations and just pick things up and learn and play as they go, and I think they do well doing that.
All right, we got the stat sheet. Sarah, let's go over here to you. You've had a chance to peruse through this while Katie was going through that piece of the conversation. What jumps out of the page here at the stat sheet? And I'm going to get Katie's opinion on the stat sheet as well. You got a chance to talk about both teams, both St. Francis and the Pilots on the stat sheet here.
Yeah, and I think it's what Katie said too. We're not getting enough balls to Abby, which she had 9 kills. She still led, but the next 2 are at 8, and one of those is their setter. So the more that they can get the ball to her, the more then the outside hitters are going to open up because they're going to go one-on-one because they're going to have to stay with that middle. But right now, if the pass isn't there and the set's not there, there were some trap sets where the hitters couldn't do what they wanted to do, and then you couldn't get the ball to Abby. So when you were able to get her there, the other thing is, I think, like you talked about, the energy and the leader on the court. When she's in the front row, you could see who the leader is and how they get fired up, and it's finding someone else to lead that team when she's not in there.
Yep.
And then if you look at the other side, when they, as far as kills, they had one player with 15, and their hitting percentages were high, and they were able to disperse the ball a little bit more to a couple other players, but also right there with them the whole time. And I mean, it really could have gone either way, which is a positive sign for the future.
Yeah, Pelak with 41 assists during the game. It's nice to have someone out there to be able to distribute this thing. And likewise, how about Nikki Marshall played really well for St. Francis. She's a tough little cookie out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts, Katie?
Yeah, I mean, I do think, especially looking at the box score, I mean, we are neck and neck. I'm really proud of 11 blocks, for their 4. But we, set 2, 3, our service receive was horrible. And then, again, we can't run our plays when our servers when our passing is bad. And so I think that's a big reflection, and that's one stat that you really don't see is what our serve receive percentage was. But, yeah, set 2 and 3, it was bad. And, again, that's when we can't run our middles. We can't run our offense with bad passes. And so we've got to be able to take care of the ball. And right now, Peyton Hart's, she's getting too many balls. 41 sets out of this game. That's just too many. And we've got to be able to distribute better.
when you were able to run that quick offense in that first game, I mean, you could see what you were trying to do and really run the quick, even on the outside, a faster ball, and it worked so well. So you're right, if you can take care of the ball, you're going to be good.
Yeah.
Hang in there, kiddo.
Thank you.
All right,
Appreciate
once again, special thanks to Katie Weeks for taking time to come up. All right, just a final thought here from Coach. Your thoughts on this as a whole moving forward. The Pilots we're going to come back here, and they've got league play coming up next time you and I will see them. They'll be matched up here against Taylor University on 9/11. That'll be the away game, and then you and I'll have them here again. But your thoughts as a group, what can they improve on right away?
You know, I think it's focusing on, okay, what are the things we can fix right away? You know, they can get in the gym and they can work on the consistency of the sets, and they can work on the passing to make that better. You know, the harder thing is going to be figuring out how do we get over that mental barrier, and sometimes it's taking a loss and learning from it. And this is that kind of a loss. Again, they're a top contender. They're a great team. They're a ranked team, and they were able to stay with them very close. So, you know, you tweak a few things and you fix some mental things, and you're right there with them, possibly taking the match. So, you know, knowing Katie, it'll be, this hurts, this sucks, and here's the negative, but now let's look at the positive, and how do we get in the gym and fix those things. Again, very fixable things with the setting placement, with the consistency, with working with the passers to get the ball, and knowing what they need to fix, getting in the gym and just grinding it out. And like she said, it's kind of nice to take a step away and get to play some teams that they don't know as well, you know, taking what they learn and then coming back. There's still a lot of season left, and there's a lot of glimpses of hope with this team.
St. Francis 54 kills, the Pilots with 4 errors, the Pilots with 22 compared to St. Francis with 32. 141 on the percentage, whereas Pilots were at 127. The assists, 25 all in the person of Madison Beaver. For St. Francis, they ended up with 46, 41 of them for Maria Pilak on the night. You look at the digs, 80 for St. Francis. The Pilots was with 70. Looking at the overall team numbers in this one, the percentage for Bethel at 63% in the first one compared to 59. That was the difference in the reason they won the game. All right, for the two-time state champion and All-American, Sarah McFarland Hendricks for China Country. I'm Paul Country. Once again, the final score, St. Francis wins 3-1. Pilots won game 1, 25-23. St. Francis, 25-22, 25-23, and 25-22 winner. For all of us at Regional Radio Sports, we'll see you again tomorrow. St. Francis, Illinois, and IU South Bend over at the Student Activity Center at Indiana University South Bend. For all of us at Regional Radio Sports Network, I'm Paul Country. God bless you all. Semper Fidelis. Good night, everyone.